Counsel, let me break this down. I understand your argument that there is a First Amendment right that the U.S. company has. I'll go that far with you, okay?
I'll take it.
Because we're affecting their ability to talk in whatever way they choose. The Washington Post could choose without any influence or threat against the children of Mr. Bezos to promote Chinese policy, and our First Amendment would permit them to do that if they chose it independently, correct?
Yes.
Now the question becomes, so it's not, that's just a given that they have a First Amendment right. The next question is, assuming they do, what's the level of scrutiny we apply? Isn't that what the issue here is?
That is certainly one of the issues, Your Honor.
All right. So if we get to that side of the issue, that TikTok USA has some sort of First Amendment right, taking your example, if the government said no speaker is free to speak under a criminal compulsion by someone else because of extortion, because of kidnapping, we are doing this because it is the only way to ensure the safety of people, that they are not going to be kidnapped or threatened, their lives threatened. You don't think that the government has a compelling state interest in saying, if there is a threat, a physical criminal threat against someone to do some activity, that the government couldn't say, I'm not questioning whatever the content is of that activity. I'm simply saying we, in our governmental powers, have a right to say, you can't do that. You can't speak.
Sure, Your Honor. So to take your question in pieces, I do think that they would have a compelling interest in that scenario to do something. But what I don't think is that they could simply target speakers in speech. Take, for example, generally applicable laws like the
So you think in that situation that the only thing the government could do is tell the Washington Post, disclose to the public that you are saying this because you are being forced to?
So
That's the only remedy the government could undertake?
No, Your Honor, but I want to make sure I understand the hypothetical. The compelling interest is in preventing this kind of compulsion, coercion, and ultimately harm to children. And I think that the government has a lot of different ways they can address that through speech-neutral laws. And I was going to point to things like the Trading with the Enemy Act or Russia sanctions. You can broadly say and attack problems.
They haven't been very effective.
Well, be that as
we're still having people kidnapped, we're still having coercion.
And be that as it may, you can say to Americans, you cannot collaborate with our enemies at all, and if you do that, you're going to be severely punished for doing that.
All right, we can go on to the effectiveness of the remedy, but the point is, I believe, that even if your First Amendment rights are impinged and there is some protection, the question is at what level of scrutiny?
Yes, Your Honor.
And whether that the action is content neutral or not.
I agree that that is the way that the analysis proceeds. Here, we believe that the level of scrutiny should be strict scrutiny.
What is